Some of our shows will be comical, some will be strictly business, and some will be about death and wills. Some will be about family and children and the effects of it. We got some interesting shows coming up this year, and we want you to be able to watch it. But what we're excited about on this particular show is, as CEO of a major corporation that is working on a senior citizens assisted living program. And guess what? It's happening in an area of the city of Dallas that has very little positive development. We have a complex that we're going to talk about tonight. It's going to be located off 67, close to Hampton and the Redbird Shopping Center area in the southern sector of Oak Cliff. It is west of Highway 67. I am proud to have as my guest tonight, I'm very proud, the CEO, David L. Willis, the CEO of the Renaissance. We're going to talk about 48, 50 daycare centers that's in preparation. We're going to talk about that. And before we go into the program, call some of your friends up that have talked about there's no development going on in the southern sector. And we're going to talk about development in the southern sector. And we're going to talk about other business and business opportunities. So this is going to be a business program tonight, and we're talking about money. Everything I want or like, it takes a little money in order to do it. So I'm very proud that we have with us tonight our co-host, Ms. Connie Smith.
Thank you, Burl. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to talk about our topic with Mr. Willis tonight because my parents are baby boomers, and so this is something that definitely appeals to me, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting a lot of information from Mr. Willis this evening. Welcome, Mr. Willis.
Thank you. Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to go to Mr. Willis, and I'd just like to ask him a couple of questions to start out. Mr. Willis, first of all, let me welcome you because, as you know, I served as an elected official in the southern sector, and I had a circumference of 5 cities where I was elected. I was former Dallas police officer. Just so happened in 1970, I was in the southern sector. So when you look at the southern sector, you know the corridor between Redbird Shopping Center all the way to I-45, you can still see cows on Interstate 20.
That's true.
But when I go to the northern sector and you're looking at the loop, you see high-rises, you see stores, you see clubs. Now, we're going to stop right there because we'll go into a 400-year problem if we talk about why in the southern sector that all that land is out there and not being developed. Well, with my career as a police officer, I could make these comments. I could say, is it because no one want to build out there because they're going to say, well, the burglary is going to be too high. If I put a car lot on Interstate 20 at a certain location, well, they'll carry them off that night or they'll burglarize them every night. So if we put them on the northern sector, they're going to have better police patrol and all of that. But one of the things that we really look at is when senior citizens that have not prepared themselves financially and rents going up. The average rent in the city is about $700, and that's not very much house. But when you have assisted living and you're putting these packages together, you need to be commended for that, okay? So if you would, tell us why the southern sector, why did you choose that, or how did it come about, just generally?
Well, I chose the southern sector because it mirrors America. We looked at the baby boomers. We're talking people born in 1946 through 1964. This country, if you look at Texas, you look at California, you look at Florida, you look at Arizona, what it all have in common is that the baby boomers are coming. And they're demanding that they're going to have quality of care. One of the things that happened with the president when he enacted the Medicare bill for drugs. I mean, everything is shifting. And the southern sector, it's like any other sector. We're going to get old. Everybody's going to age somewhere, and the people in the southern sector is definitely going to age. So we chose the southern sector simply the fact the demographics are there, the ability to pay is there, regardless of what other people may think and said in the past. Economically, our senior complex, specifically the Fred L. Landers complex that we're putting there with the assisted living, really fits into the demographics, and it's not. It can go as easy in Plano as it can go in South Dallas, and that's the reason we put it there.
Okay, and as you look at it, when you look at senior citizens that is not prepared on Social Security, the average Social Security for someone that was born in the 20s and the 30s is
Mm.
about $700-800 a month
Yeah.
at best.
Right.
But if you prepared yourself, you could live because some assisted living has a lower rate. I know a couple that built one in Fairfield, Texas, and I drove down and took a look at it, and I just had to take my hat off to a couple that looked at building this. Now, if someone wanted to go to work for you, how many people are you going to employ, or the center is going to employ there? We're talking about employment to a number of personnel
Oh
for the
yeah.
southern sector.
Well, we're looking at roughly 125 jobs, all the way from administrators for the adult daycare center and also the assisted living, nurses, also for the assisted living component. Also going to have people that aides. We have a program that we're enacting with Eastfield College where we're actually going to be sending our aides over to Eastfield College and gerontology, because the baby boomers, who are the most demanding group of people, are saying right now that whoever touched my body needs to know about my aging process, and that aides have 97% of the contact. And education in healthcare has always been from the top down. And when you get to the aides, basically they're saying if you know how to lift, and really know how to do the Heimlich maneuver and also know CPR, that's all they were taught. But now we have 75 million people by the year 2030 that's coming. And so based on that, anyone that's interested in healthcare needs to get into jobs in administration, aides. But we're creating 125 jobs, and those jobs, I was asked today, well, what would the aides be paid? And I said, to keep them, you need to pay them $12, $14 an hour, because that's what it's going to take. And so we're going to do 125 jobs, all the way down from the construction. One of the things that we have a company called Precept Builders. One of the things we've said, we want to see people of color help build the facilities. As far as the grounds people, we're going to have jobs for that. Also van, transportation, all of that will create about 125 jobs.
The employment opportunities sound great.
Mhm.
One of the things you were talking about were the people that would be coming to the facility. What demographic or what types of people are you looking to house there? Is it just the sickly? Is it just the very aged?
Well, that's a good question, because it varies. The adult daycare, we actually will be bringing people in from the community into the adult daycare center. And what we call that the continuum of care. If we can begin to have the people come into the center, it's similar to child care.
Right.
They come into the center, we get them involved in the activities there. And those people are up, they're ambulatory, they're socially. What we're going to do with those people, we're just going to take them out, they're going to play bingo, they're going to go to the mall, they're going to go bowling. And then we have the assisted living component, which requires, just what I say, a little assistance with the ADLs, the activities of daily living. And with that, we will have the aides to assist them with that, and we also have RNs on staff for that. But then you get into the independent living, it's 55 and up. They're still going to work every day, but they want the privacy and the convenience of being around people with like minds that have some of the same experiences that they have, and they want the security. So we put porches on all the duplexes. And we probably put not the wheelchair, but the rockers out there for them as well. So,
Great.
so it's a mixture of people. It's a cross section all the way. People that want socialization because they're at home all day by themselves, and their adult children who are now working are saying, we don't want to leave you at home to burn down the house.
Right.
So basically, we will send you to adult daycare and let you go over there.
Is the facility priced such that if I wanted to put a parent in that was 55, could they actually, you were talking about just the different stages that you're accommodating, so could they actually feasibly be there 10 or 15 years? And, is it priced such that it would accommodate that? And,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's start with the duplexes. We have 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. We have it all the way from 600 square feet up to 1,000 square feet. And, as you said earlier, the average in Dallas is about $700. We start out with our 1 bedrooms about the same price.
Okay.
And the 2 bedrooms will not go over $1,300 for a 2 bedroom. And who are we going to have there? 2 people living there at 2 bedrooms, 1,000 square feet. That's a lot of space.
That's good.
The assisted living is the same thing. We have the Medicaid, What you look at in the southern sector, predominantly we have a lot of Medicaid there. They can afford that through the CBA program, and also private pay. So yeah, they can afford it. And adult daycare is about $60, $65 a day, which is affordable as well.
That's good. And for the independent living, couples, married couples can still live together like
Oh
they
yeah.
did. Okay.
Oh, it's the same. It don't change. The
That's
only
good.
thing that changes is that seniors are now saying we want to be in an area where we don't have nothing to say about the boom boxes, but they don't want the boom
Right,
boxes.
right.
They want the grandkids to visit them when they want them to visit.
Right.
So we're going therefore it's going to be gated.
That's
The
good.
grandkids probably standing out trying to get
Right.
in, but it's, they
Right,
have to have
locked.
they have to have the code to
Absolutely.
get in. So
That's good.
it's going to be basically the same. We put it there because we want it to be economically sound.
Mm-hmm.
We also, though, we had to look at the adult children and the aging process. And one of our philosophies is that we help seniors finish well. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That's great.
Mr. Willis, I noticed that you struck a nerve on me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, when you said that you wanted to employ some African Americans to work on some of these projects.
Yes.
The nerve that you struck, and it's just my nature to be direct.
Go ahead.
On the state highways, you don't see African Americans working construction. On a large number of tract homes, you don't see African Americans putting the roof on, you don't see them putting the framing, you don't see them doing the bricks, you don't see them pouring the concrete. What is it? Is it that we are too good now to do that type work? I mean, you got contracts going on, the multi-million-dollar contracts. I mean, you probably got one of the largest firms around. But can you help me out on why that if you take one just south of Dallas, when you pass I-20, there's $77 million worth of construction on one city side, the other side is another, and it has to have the equal. I could not tell you that I've seen 3 African Americans out there working. Are they afraid they're going to get hit by a car on the freeway? What is it?
Well, that's a pretty good question,
Yeah, it
isn't it?
is.
Because,
Yeah, it
you
is.
look at,
Can
and
I tell?
I asked that question as well, and one of the things we went with the precepts, we said the precepts, we want your subcontractors to be people of color. And they said if we can find them, we will put them in there. I mean, they're out there.
You struck another nerve.
No, but
But it's okay, because I'm going to comment on it.
if we find them. So what we did at Renaissance Enterprise, we decided that we're going to go out there in the community and find minority contractors, and I have actually taken minority contractors to precepts to let you know you don't have to go find them. I find them for you,
Right.
and I'll bring them here, and they're qualified
That's
to do
good.
the job. So, and asked the other question about why don't you see them out there? A lot of it is a bonding issue. A lot of the minority firms that I looked at, they said we don't have enough capital to get bonded. So I'm taking them to precepts and say help them get bonded. I mean, you do $100 million a year. I want a subcontractor that look like me.
So we're dealing with a lot of experience. We're dealing with a 400-year-old problem that you find a way to exclude rather than include. Because if you can't have African Americans out there working, you got them on certain streets. You can drive to certain areas of the city, and you can find 50 to 100 black men in the street. Matter of fact, to be more specific with you, you can drive down Grand Avenue and look to the left and look to the right, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is factual. You can also drive any direction in the state of Texas. You will not see no more than 2 or 3 African Americans working on the road crew. Any direction. So this is not something that Burl Jernigan is just saying. This is factual stats that we're talking about. And that's from here to Louisiana, from here to Houston, from here to San Antonio, from here to Oklahoma, or from here to here. You just don't see it. And you can't tell me that if you have a city with a population, 55, 65%, the other city on the other side is almost 80% to the south, and African Americans are paying rooftop taxes because we don't have a lot of business. Rooftop taxes is house taxes, okay? It's not business taxes. But when you struck that nerve, I just want to know why that they're not there. And then even if you're building homes in an African American community where they're going to be predominantly African American, there's still It's not subcontractors that don't have those jobs. Is it because we're too high or we too good?
Oof,
That's a tough
that
question.
is a tough one. That one's tough. You know, one of the solutions to that is to have more developers of color. I mean, I'm demanding that of Precepts, and Precepts has responded by saying you're absolutely right. We have to have subcontractors that get the funding, and therefore they got to have the dollars to get the funding. It's not a matter of the ability to do the job, because as you well know, when we show up, we have to be not only just good but better.
Absolutely.
People ask me why I work on Saturdays. It's because I need to get ahead for Monday. Because I have to. I mean, it's just a matter of that's the way it is. So if we are ever going to have a paradigm shift, and the amount of African American people of color that's actually out there working, then we are going to have to come back, just like we did with the Fred L. Landers Center, and name buildings after people that have gone before us. And secondly, develop our own development company and stop asking someone else to give us a job. Do it ourselves, and we can do it.
Well, I can say things that other people are afraid to touch.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go so far, but
Right. Now I'll go all the way.
We see this.
If we kind of pull our pants up on us,
Okay.
we can't work because we can't keep our pants up on our behind. You know, that's my opinion. I see too many pants dropping. See, we work all day trying to hold our pants up. That's just what I see. But you touched me again at this dedication. You kept mentioning your mother. You mentioned your mother 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And I got to go ahead, since we're on a show now, I got to go ahead and try to bring it out. What were you trying to say? I mean, it seems like to me that you really respect your mom, that she's done a terrific job, and to raise a son that owns several companies. Tell me about that. Go ahead. You're talking to your mom now. You said you mentioned, I wish my mama could see this. I wish my mama was here.
Well, my mother, she raised 12 children.
How many?
12. I have 6 sisters and 5 brothers.
Wow.
And for years, I always said the strongest man I known in my life was my mother. When we didn't have a car, she walked in front of us and made sure we got to school. When we didn't have food, she made sure food was on the table. And so there's nothing, my mom used to tell me, I said, well, I asked about my dad. She said, you know where your mama is? I said, I'm always here. So for me, my foundation is built around a very, very strong African-American woman, one that would put her life on the line for her children. She would exhibit that time after time again. And, when I'm standing there that day, you get the feeling that, why are you here? And what are the values that she gave you as you were coming up? And what did she instill into you? What legacy? My mama told me to work.
Before we go back to the programming and the business of the programming, you're talking to your mom right now.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell her? Because I know that you respect her and I know that you love her, and I just met you at a dedication.
Yeah.
You're talking to your mom right now. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Ruby Jewel Wilson, and I call her Ruby Jewel. That's when I'm kidding her natural. But, Mother, I just want to say to you right now that, if it wasn't for you, there would be nothing. You raised me right. You fought for me when you thought that people were misusing me. You pulled for me when I went to college. You were there for me when I finished. You've always gave me sound advice, and for that I love you.
Now, is this part of the reason that you wanted to do something for senior citizens, that you took on this project? Because this project had been up in the air for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years out there. You came along and you got it done.
Yeah. Well, the reason I wanted to do it was because if you look at, let's say in 1990, there was no rights for the elderly. An elderly person could have starved to death if someone elected not to feed them. Someone has to be there for the elderly. I have a passion that the people that have set the foundation for us should be taken care of. Our motto again, we help people finish well.
Are you a minister?
No, I'm not. I just believe in it. And I tried to get away from healthcare. And the good Lord just kept bringing me back. And it's a job that needs to be done. And I think I've been the one chosen to do it. I truly believe in helping the 5,000 and feeding the 5,000 and helping people, specifically the elderly, because they can't fend for themselves. And a lot of times, if they're in nursing homes, the children forget to come see them. They're warehoused.
Oh, so that's why when you go, okay, I understand.
That's why I
Okay.
don't have a nursing home there. I don't want a nursing home where people are warehoused. I want a facility where people are loved and are taken care of, and the quality of life there is better than what they had when they showed up.
That's outstanding. Can you kind of talk about, you talk about people not being warehoused, about how many people will be housed in this particular facility, and then can we talk more about some of the other facilities that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
developing?
In the adult daycare, that's 120, that's a 10,000 square foot facility. We would have 125 people a day that would actually be, we'll do the transportation and bring them to that center every day.
Okay.
In the assisted living, we have 100 beds, 100 units, so we have 100 people there. In the duplexes, there's 34 or actually 68 units. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of people. We're actually talking about 320 to 350 people a day
Wow.
going in and out of that facility.
Okay. That's good. So there's a, I guess what I'm hearing you describe is that there's a place for actual residents, and then there's a whole nother kind of community center type.
Well, that's
environment.
it. You hit on the community center. In the assisted living, they're there. They're going to stay there for the duration of their life until something happened in their medical. At the point where we can no longer take care of them, then they will go then only to a nursing facility, or what we call a skilled nursing facility or nursing home.
Okay.
So they'll live there for the rest of their lives. The adult daycare, what we're looking at, they're still living with their children, but they come to our center.
Okay.
So eventually, if their children want them to get out of the house, basically, they can
Right.
come to the assisted living.
Okay.
Or they can go to the duplexes, which are independent.
Okay.
And in the duplexes, what we're looking at there is the aging process. Eventually, they'll go from the duplexes to the assisted living. And that's the way the continuum of care is. We're going to change. Our health care is going to change. And so we look at how long, if a person came into the adult daycare, either the independent living or the assisted living, how long can we keep them? And I'm saying for the rest of their lives.
What you described sounds incredible in terms of just the evolution or just the continuum that you've described, in terms of the fact that it's very difficult, I'm sure, for people who are used to going to work every day and who are used to caring for themselves, caring for their children for years and years and years, and then now to be in a position where they need assistance. They may not need, you know, managed nursing care on a regular or private basis, but they need something. And so the idea that they could go in one day and have, you know, basically a hands-off independent kind of situation, and then it just evolves over time based on their needs, seems like it would really serve a great need in the community.
And it does. You know, I look at, you know, I was in home health care, and we took care of almost 4,000 people a day. And there were people that the only person they seen that day was either our nurse or our aide, you know, and the quality of life wasn't there to me. But now with the socialization aspect of it, you know, let's face it, you know, one of the things that we're going to do is bring in children periodically to talk with the elderly. And the elderly, the kids can learn from all those years of wisdom.
Absolutely.
But it also, if you look at it, it's a reality therapy. They have these children, they can talk,
sure.
they can interact with them. Kids going to ask a million questions,
Oh, sure.
and they're going to be able to learn. So, yeah, I mean, that interaction from a social standpoint and having and knowing that there's someone there to care for you. See, that's the biggest thing. One of the main things when you're dealing with skilled nursing facilities is, do you love them?
Right.
You know, we're going to treat them with love and respect, you know, because simply because you're old don't mean you still have dreams and aspirations of things that you want to do.
Right.
There's still things to do. We're going to have computer rooms there. In our adult daycare center, we're going to have a computer room because we're going to teach them computers.
That's good.
And also, let's face it, they're going to check their portfolios
Right,
too. You know, so
right.
we're going to teach them that. We're going to have a media room in there where they can watch their favorite movies. You know, we're going to have, oh gosh, all kinds of activities. We're going to have a baby grand piano sitting in there in case they want to go over there. You know, it'll probably play for itself, but
That's
you know,
good.
and it's just things like that. And really, when you start looking at quality of life, I know I keep mentioning that, but you know, if you're going to live with the new technology, you know, the retirement age is going to about 70 now.
It is.
Because of technology, we're eating better, we're living better, you know, so we're living longer. And I look at life sort of like a football game. It's got 4 quarters.
Right.
You know, when you're 17 and a half, you know, that's the first quarter of your life. When people don't realize when they get to be 35, they're in the middle of their life right there. Then you add on an,
Wow.
I mean,
Well, that brings it home for you, doesn't it?
think about it. Think about it. At 35, you're in middle age based on the current life expectancy right now.
You're half of 70.
I know.
Yeah.
That's wild.
You're off the calendar,
Yeah. And so, you know, we say what is three scores and 10.
right?
Well, so when we get to around 59, then we get to 70, 72, what I do, I take care of people that's in that fifth quarter.
Right.
Because now we live in 5, 6, 7, 8 quarters. And a lot of people, one of their things was, well, first of all, we don't want to live out our money.
Right.
And we want security.
Right.
And that's what we do, you know.
I'm really excited about just the community that you described. My mom was she was a registered dietitian for almost 20 years, and she initially worked in a hospital and moved eventually to consulting in 6 or 7 different nursing homes. And the things that you described in terms of the worst care that someone can receive, even with the incredible amounts of money that some people pay for those facilities, it's downright scary.
It is.
And it's not surprising that people are as afraid or as wary as they are to leave the comforts of their home to move into a facility where someone else gets to control when they get to eat, when they get to basically do the daily life things. So the fact that you have such a passion about just the whole community, that means a lot.
Security, that's another thing with the senior complex. It's the security aspect of it, you know. And let's face it, I mean, you hear about elderly being ripped off. You would know that because of, you know, I mean, they get roofs put on that never get put on. You know, they sold insurance that really don't exist. You know, I mean, you can look up at any given time their home's been broke into and the brutal things that happen to them, they're beat. And what we offer is that security, you know, within that community.
Yeah, it's real important that you talked about your mom, you talked about the elderly, you talked about employing the unemployed. And tell us a little bit about your company. What are your goals? Where are you headed? What do you really intend to do?
Well, our goal is to build 15 senior complexes over the next 5 years, and also to build 49 adult daycare centers throughout the state of Texas. With that, we're going to take care of, you know, just in the adult daycare, about 4,800 people a day. With the assisted living, it's going to be closer to 6,000 people a day. We're going to employ about 18 to 1,900 people throughout the state of Texas. And that's our goal. And we want to redefine the standards of care as they are right now. We want to redefine the standards. And I say redefine because the standards out there right now just don't meet my expectations.
You brought some prints in here. You want to tell us a little bit about these and
Well,
get a camera shot of it?
Well, what this one is, this is the adult daycare center. This one here is 12,778 square feet. And this is just a floor plan for that. And this adult daycare center is centered around a fireplace. The reason we put the fireplace in there is because we want it to feel like home when they come there, and we want it to be luxury living. And what we have here is a 3- or 4-star, actually 4-star dining here.
Okay.
We have the media room here. We have the activity room here. This is the computer room. Over here we have the exercise room because we are dealing with active seniors at this point.
Okay.
Over here, just for the adult daycare, if they get tired during the day, we have a day area.
Oh, that's nice.
And here we also have for podiatrists to come in and nutritional counseling.
Okay.
That's the senior. That is the adult daycare center floor plan there. The same one that's going to be. You see, people ask me, well, you're going to put this in the southern sector. Let's keep going back. We can put this anywhere in America.
That's right.
And
An incredible blueprint.
now, this is the plan here for the assisted living. And we did the assisted living. Am I covering you up?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, we did the assisted living a little bit different. This is our own design because we put in the middle a 2,000 square foot dining area here. We put in a library and a beauty shop.
Okay.
We had to go to the beauty shop because what we found is that over 85–90% of our people will be women.
Okay.
Average age will be from about 82 up.
Wow.
So We got to have the beauty shop.
That's right.
And
I'm a woman, I can tell you.
we named the library, the one down in Redbird Boulder, after Miss Bobby Landers. That's going to be her
Outstanding.
private library there. Here's the adult daycare center in the middle. We have 50 units on this side of assisted living, 1 bedroom, 50 units over here. And I'm gonna show you the next one. Here is just simply show you how it's laid out completely out with the whole 10 acres.
Okay.
The adult daycare here, assisted living here on both sides, the dining room in the middle. We put a 2,000 square foot community center
Okay.
for the independent living people to go to.
Okay, so something separate for them.
Separate, yeah, we
Okay.
gave them their own community center.
Okay.
Over 2,000 square feet. We're gonna put walking and jogging trails back there.
Okay.
And we're gonna put a fishing pond just in case they wanna fish. I keep moving it back and forth. I'm trying to let it back and forth here, sorry about that. But we have jogging trails back there as well.
Okay.
These are the duplexes, which I'll keep still. It shows the 1 bedroom here. This one is 620 square feet. We have different roof styles on it, different elevations, because we wanted it not to look like cookie cutters, but we
Okay.
wanted it to look like a neighborhood.
That's nice. And this is all in the same?
This is all in the same
Okay.
10 acres.
Wow.
And the last one is the elevation of what it's going to look like.
Okay.
We went with, this is the rooftop here. We went with the roof where we had it actually in segments. Because the old nursing home basically had long halls.
Right.
And the reason they had long halls because they had to have a view of every room in case there was an emergency.
Right.
And that was a medical facility. But with assisted living, we're not worried about view sites, but simply the fact that, you know, they're not that critical. And this is the elevation from the side, the elevation here. And this is how this part here would actually be facing Boulder.
It looks very homely. I mean, just
So
Well, it's home.
you named the library after Miss Bobby Landers.
Yes, I did.
That's Judge, Municipal City of Dallas Judge Victor Landers' mom.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And the home is named after that great attorney, their dad and her husband.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very
Yeah,
good, very good. Well, let's go back to talk about a little bit about, you know, your companies again, your business. Do you have any other development going on in the southern sector? Anything we call west of the Trinity? Some people think it's south of the Trinity because when you go across the Trinity Bridge, a lot of people think that's south,
Oh, really?
but it's really west.
Oh, so
Okay.
Southwest. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have 2 business partners. Levi Davis used to be assistant city manager, is one of my partners. We bought, and Gary Sanders is my other partner. We bought the old Cliff Towers on Colorado and Zion. And that's going to be a multi-million-dollar renovation and new build. We're putting 150 apartments there. Inside of the building itself, we're putting loft apartments, and we're building on the outside, around the building, an additional 80 units. We're negotiating right now with Starbucks and also Larry North Fitness Center. And we bought a smoothie franchise that we're going to put there as well. And yeah, it's a lot going on in the southern sector.
Well, Connie and I want to talk to you about the penthouse that's going to be on the top, you know.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Well, the penthouse on top, once we convert it, it's going to be apartments initially. Within 5 years, we're converting it over to condos. And the top 2 floors will be 1 unit, and that's going to be, with the outside balconies, about 9,000 square feet.
That should be enough for
Penthouse.
me. I
You think that's going to be
I
enough?
think that would accommodate me.
Okay.
That's
So
That's
you,
what we're doing.
so when you get to the top, you got a view of downtown Dallas and possibly the West End, as well as the Trinity River. How tall is that building?
12 stories
12
high. The view is an unrestricted view. It's just 2 minutes from downtown. The city, we talk with the city. We are working with the city of Dallas. We're working with the city parks department. It's been great for us, and the view is outstanding. Yeah. Great view.
So right now, Connie can choose the penthouse that she wants.
Well, kind of, you know, it's been a lot of people.
People are
a lot of
vying for
people
that
have
pen-
bills on that penthouse.
Well,
It's already sold, huh?
Well, you know, from an apartment, it's still available for that. Now, we're going to convert it in about 5 years over to penthouses. And at that point, I told my partners we can probably sell the top 2 floors for what we paid for the building.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, yeah.
That's smart business.
That's good.
That's really
I mean, so,
good.
yeah, go ahead. We like to go ahead and get you inked up for that one right now.
No doubt. So it looks like you've got all of the sectors covered, basically. I mean, you've got young and up and coming people who are working out there downtown, you know, the lofts. Those are really popular right now.
They
So,
are.
I mean, you're hitting both of the markets. So, you know, what other kinds of things is Renaissance Enterprises into? I mean,
Well, we're about to go into group homes,
Okay.
which is just another form of assisted living where you have 3 to 6 people living in a home and they have a caretaker there with them during the day, 24-hour care.
is it age specific or not necessarily?
It's the same. It's
Okay.
age specific. We're looking at people right now. The Veterans Administration have a program for veterans
Okay.
that are still active, but they just have some medical needs that need to be met, and they still want to live independently of their family. So we're starting group homes as well.
With care like that, are there government subsidies and that kind of thing that help with the cost of the care? Is it something that goes to you all directly, or is it something that is like Medicare or something that, you know, is paid to the individual? How does that work?
Well, with the group homes, with the Veterans Administration, those funds come directly from the Veterans Administration directly to the group home, and so they cover all costs for that.
Okay.
With the assisted living, we have Medicaid,
Mhm.
but also you got to realize with the children now currently working in these corporations, we found that in the corporations they lost about 15 to 20 billion dollars last year because of the adult children taking care of their parents. So
Right.
long-term care insurance is part of the cafeteria plan
Okay.
that the children who are the primary caregivers can use that plan since they're in the home to pay for their quality of care as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
This is exciting stuff.
No, it works. It really does, and we're helping people. And I cannot emphasize that enough about the children. A lot of the children don't know about the aging process. They don't know what's happening to their parents. So one of the things that we're implementing is a caregiver night out, but
Okay.
we're also doing a caregiver support group.
I was going to ask, are you doing
Yes, we
something
are.
to educate?
And we're going to do a series of seminars in the community prior to opening to let everybody know about the aging process. We have a company called America's Healthcare Strategies that's going to be working with us as far as doing a series of seminars in the community and educating people on the aging process. And where do you go when you wake up, a parent wake up and they're disoriented, or they get sick and they need some help? Where do you go? A lot of adult children don't know where to go. And so we're going to show them the various programs available in the community, government programs that can help them.
That's good.
Mr. Willis, when are we going to see some dirt flying by the tractors? I know you had the elected officials out there, and
Yeah.
they hit just a little dirt, and time they did that and the cameras went off, they left, laid the shovels down.
Yeah.
Now,
They didn't
You're
work
right.
too hard, huh?
I mean, the hard work about the stuff.
when is start date?
We're
Projection.
looking at about the end of July, August. We actually see, because we're going through, we're utilizing some HUD programs. It's a HUD 232. It takes about 6 months to finish the financing on that. We're using a company called Malone Mortgage that's going to be the underwriter or guarantee the HUD loan for us, and we're going through that process right now. So it's going to take about another 5 to 6 months, and they're going to start flying then, end of July. The first portion that would come up would be the adult daycare center, and then you'll see the assisted living and the duplexes come up together.
When can the first person go there for a turnkey job? Move their little bed in and take their 2 dresses or their 2 pair of pants in?
Well, to build the assisted living and duplex, it's going to take us about 12 months. The adult daycare center is going to take about 6. So we're talking from July, give us about 12, 13 months as far as actually moving into it with the assisted living and the duplexes. Adult daycare is going to take about 6 months. So, you know, they can come over doing adult daycare, you know, but the rest of it's going to take a while just because of the construction time.
Now, this is just right down the street from Sack and Save. Is that correct?
Well, so I can say right down Redbird.
Right.
We got another nice church right up the street.
Concord Missionary Baptist Church.
And then we have I like to call it Redbird Mall because that's what it's always been.
Right.
They want to call it
Southwest
Southwest Center.
Center.
I don't know what happened there, but I think you can probably tell me. Just like Executive Airport. I haven't saw an executive flying yet, but it's Redbird Airport. It's Redbird Airport. But yeah, it's conveniently located. It has everything to be successful. It has transportation. It has we've talked already, and with Methodist, Charleston Methodist, as far as they want to help us with the transportation piece of that. We have our people on ride around. They say if they need to come to the hospital, they bring them over there. So it's conveniently located, and the population there is, as you well know, in the southern sector, is a huge population. We have Duncanville, DeSoto, we have Lancaster, all those to pull from. Grand Prairie is right down the street. I know you probably got something else,
But those are the positive aspects of this development project.
But what I'm saying, the population is there, and really, we feel before it's finished that we'll already have a waiting list.
I think it's a beautiful location, and if you wanted exercise, you got a bridge right across the freeway. It takes you right to a shopping center by itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of positives putting it at that location. Very, very easy, accessible. And too many elderly sit at home, and most people don't know this. They don't have anything to eat. They can't cook because some of them can't see the stove. They can't get to it. They need assistance, even in their own homes. And they sit there, and when you find out that some elderly people are eating dog food, but people don't believe that because we don't stop to think. If you take, for instance, the average family now that have a relative 70, 80, 85 years old, they're home alone all the time.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, it makes me feel better. If a family is listening or watching this show tonight, if they simply would just take time out and have a party every now and then, or visit the elderly, you'll give them strength and encouragement. Those are factual statements, but we're too busy with other things. But to be broke, you really have to be busy because, we got conversations going on. We got cell phones up to our ear in the grocery store, in church they're going off, pagers, and everywhere, but we're practicing on being broke, apparently. But the cell phone companies are making the money because we drive down the street, flipping cars over on the interstate, talking on the cell phone. So what you're doing is very positive, and I'm just tickled pink that you took the invitation to come and be on the show because I can learn more about the business because you were very impressive at the groundbreaking in the southern sector. So I noticed that there is some dirt flying on I-20 from Lancaster over to Bonneview and across on the south side of Interstate 20, right around the cow pasture.
Oh, yeah.
That industrial park. Now, I believe that City Councilman James Fantroy is probably going to go down in history as being the best and most productive city council person ever because he is moving dirt in the southern sector. And he's serious. He's bringing 12 to 1,500 houses into the southern sector and an industrial park south of I-20. And it's never happened before. So those cows are going to have to find somewhere else to go out there on the side. I mean, you can drive down Interstate 20 and you can look over to the right and you can actually see animals still grazing on land that if you take Interstate 20, which is 635 in the eastern and in the northern sector, how much is it square foot? You pay as much for a square foot in North Dallas as you would for an acre in South Dallas.
Oh, you're kidding.
On 635.
It's expensive. I looked at land in Plano, and it's expensive.
I would imagine.
That's all I just. It's
Well,
very expensive.
it depends on who's pricing the land. Sometimes you can price it and it'll be a little bit higher. Somebody else can come price it, it could be a little bit lower.
I know where you're going. But I sent the other people the prices. I didn't show up.
He's not just a businessman, he's a genius.
By the way, I'm Burl Jernigan, and thank you for watching Burls World. We have as our guest tonight the CEO of the Renaissance Corporation. What we want to do is we want to give you an opportunity to give an address out or a telephone number where you can reach him to talk more about his business and development that's going on in any city, anywhere. Mr. Davis, is there a number?
Yes, our number is 381-1800.
Very good. You can reach Mr. Davis at that number. One of the most positive things that have happened in the southern sector, and we're very proud to have him on our show tonight to talk about the great things that he's doing. But I still want that penthouse over there because Commissioner Price lived directly across that little lake in front of that building. Is that correct?
Yes, he does.
Dallas County Commissioner?
Yeah, he does.
Well,
Councilwoman Elba Garcia.
right,
She's
right.
right across there, right next to him.
Okay. And they didn't leave the neighborhood.
No, they're in the neighborhood.
Right.
They are. I think with the Starbucks, we'll keep them.
And the Larry North
In the
Business
Larry North
Facility.
Business Center. You know,
No
that's a
doubt.
big thing. I tell
It
you,
really
it's
is.
you know, it's all about economic development. The northern sector is going through a transition right now as well. You know, there's a lot of that property that we're trying to acquire because there are things we want to put there as well and be part of the economic growth. It's the time that it's time that people of color get engaged more in what's going to happen in this city. And I guess if we have to start it, that's what we're going to do. But yeah, there's a lot of transition happening.
I have one more question for you, just talking economics. You were talking about, I'm really intrigued by the whole daycare concept. And so if someone is an adult child caring for their aged parent, then how do you price something like, I'm only going to bring my parent once or twice a week, or I'm going to bring them 10 times a month? I mean, is it you pay for it when they show up, on a daily basis, or do you do it by the month? How do you do that sort of thing?
Okay. One of the things when we looked at adult daycare, we looked at what does Medicaid pay per day.
Right.
Medicaid only pays $25.31. Well, that don't quite cut it.
Right.
And so we had to look at our market would be those adult children, because most of them are two families, they're working, the husband and wife's working, and they have it part of their cafeteria plan, adult daycare and assisted living as part of the cafeteria plan. So for that, our market, we're targeting that particular group that are working during the day, but they still want their mother or father or brother they're cared for in the home. The baby boomers are saying, we're not going to be warehouse.
Right.
They're the most intelligent, most economically sound group ever. There's 75 to 80 million of us coming. And they're just going to demand it, and they won't go to a nursing home. I've seen them. They say, I would rather be shot than to go. That's not saying nursing homes are bad. They have their place in the continuum. But the baby boomers don't want to go. But to answer your question, basically, private pay. Last year, there was 22.4 million families that spent $69 billion taking care of someone in their home over the age of 60. And so, so they're there. And people say, well, long-term care is expensive. I can't afford it. And I say to everybody listening, you cannot afford not to have it.
That's right.
Because you're going to get old.
That's right.
And that's going to happen. You got to be prepared for it. No longer can you depend on the government
That's true. That's
to take care
true.
of you. So you have to now position yourself economically because you're going to live longer.
That's right.
And you don't want to outlive your money. And definitely don't want to live out. You want to have a quality of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What advice do you have to younger people that their parents is in their middle 50s or 60s to prepare them for their parents when they're like 80 and 90? Should they, in other words, I'm trying to ask you, is there a point in time where the parents need to go ahead and will that property over to their children?
Well,
or what do they need to do to prepare for 90s and 100? Because my daddy is 99.
okay. Well, you're going to live a long time. It's good genes. Well, there is a thing called the rights of the elderly. Unless the parent is deemed incompetent or, not able to take care of themselves, the adult children, all they can do right now is to make sure that their parents either have the Medicare benefits or the Medicaid benefits. If they've been part of a corporation, you need to look at when they left, the retirement program a lot of times will have benefits for them as far as their long-term care is concerned. For the adult children right now, they either need to get, because economically, this generation kind of have the highest education and the most money, they need to get a long-term care plan. They need to go to an insurance company and really now sit down with them, with that insurance company, and plan out what they're going to do after they retire. They also need to be talking to their company and get that if they don't have long-term care as part of their cafeteria plan, they don't have assisted living or adult daycare or nursing, skilled nursing, so they need to get that on there, and they need to get with the other employees and really work toward that.
Well, what is this 21 days stay if you're a certain age and you go in the hospital or you go in a nursing home, and after 21 days a particular agency does not pay any longer? What am I talking about for the public?
Well, what happened typically, people could go into a nursing home, and there's a 21-day stay just to see exactly what's going on in their life at that point, and they need that right there. They need some skilled nursing help. They either came out of hospital, they have there's a hip injury for the elderly, those that have a tendency to fall, and they go to a nursing home or a rehabilitation center just for that time to recover. Then after that, it's paid for at that point by Medicare or Medicaid. Then they come out, and that's when the problems start.
So if you go to one and stay 21 days, you got to have something that's going to transfer you to another one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're just good for 21 days, so most people think. We're about to come to the end of the show, and it's getting real good. And I'm going to ask that co-host if she have any final questions that she would like to ask you to expound on.
Okay.
I guess if somebody's interested in this sort of care for their parent or for someone that they know and they care about, is there, I guess, the number you gave, is that the best way to get more information about this development, or is it to wait 6 or 12 months until construction is nearly complete to get information in terms of?
Well, they need to call now. We're going to start a series of seminars very soon. Probably at the end of March, we'll start our seminars in the Redbird Boulder area.
Okay.
They need to call us now to find out where those seminars are going to be. The topic's going to be talking about aging in place, and also where you can go when that time comes, or where you need to go before that time comes.
Okay.
Because the worst thing that you can do is be 87, 88 years old and your money run out.
That's right.
You know, at that point, most of your loved ones, or that you know, especially specifically for women, most of their spouses are gone at that point.
Yeah.
And just need to call us, and we'll lead you down the path of the various programs that's available and how to position yourself, you know, because we're all going to get old.
Okay.
That's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Okay, so if they call that number, can they get a brochure, or is there a website, or is it just a matter of just giving you their name and information?
Give us the name and their number at this point, and we'll contact them back.
That sounds great.
Once again, we're talking to Mr. Davis from Renaissance Enterprises, Inc. It's been a pleasure having him here tonight, and we're going to let him wrap up telling us the viewpoints of his company. What would you like, or what would you like the viewers to know or do?
Well, you know, Renaissance Enterprises primarily deal with the aging process. What we're going to do, like I said earlier, over the next 5 years, we'll go with 49 adult daycare centers and 15 assisted living facilities. And we just ask everybody to give us a call, and we'll show you how to prepare for your
Give us that number again.
972-381-1800.
Very good. Once again, you've been viewing Burls World, and we want to let you know that some of our shows, that's it? Okay. One of the things we want you to do is take a look at our shows and our viewings. Sometimes they will be hilarious. Sometimes they will be just totally comical. Most of the time they're going to be educational so that you can prepare for the future. In other words, what you're going to be confronted with. Sometimes we talk about death and we talk about wills, because many families out there don't have a clue of what to do if someone should die in your home, like the elderly. They just need to know, and these shows will cover that, because I've had 30 years of experience in public service. I've been an elected official and just helped so many people out in the southern sector. So tell your friends, when you see Burls World, you can bet that they're going to see a brand new world that they've already been living in. Now, I'd like to say, until you find a better world, keep watching Burls World.
Great show. Thank you very much.
you.
We appreciate that. I like that slogan.
Yeah, I do too. Nice meeting you too, David.
keep watching Burls World. I like that. Can I do that one day?
I
I'll tell
know.
young people, until you find a better world,
That's
you need to
right.
watch Burls World.
That's right. That's good.